Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday afternoon. Well, it's close to afternoon anyway. And I am taking advantage of the quiet time while I can because at the time of this recording, I'm still living with relatives, which is a blessing. And I want to talk a little bit about that because if you hear noise in the background, it's the ice machine maker. Okay, we have an ice machine maker going on, we have a tile fan going on because currently in Savannah it's June, late part of June, early part of July, and typical fashion, it's hot. So we got ice maker going on in here because we could never get enough ice in the refrigerator. So we got a separate ice machine, which does wonders, that my brother-in-law was able to pick up. So you might hear it going on in the background, creating that ice that's doing its job. So anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of things. And I'm not sure what I'm going to name this. Of course, I'm going to have one by the time this airs. Sometimes you have to be uncomfortable before you're comfortable. And I kind of touched on this in previous audios, but I want to kind of go into details with it and provide a little storytelling in regards to my experience. First of all, before I start, please remember that no matter how old you are, things are going to change and there's always something to learn. Now, for those of you, because of cultural or religious reasons, you don't want to believe that, fine, keep going through the bullshit you're going through, because apparently you are going through some bullshit because you're not flexible enough to make the changes to resolve the issue. I'm putting that out there. So with that being said, you have to make changes now that are a little bit out of your comfort zone in order to get the blessing later. And a lot of people don't want to do that. You'd be surprised how many people who are culturally and religiously and socially trained to do the thing a certain way and just wait it out, wait it out, wait it out. And here it is 10 years, 15 years, 20 years later, they're doing the same routine, saying the same things, the same, but they're running into the same bullshit situations. And I'm going to tell you guys something, speaking from experience. If you're a younger person that's going through a whole lot of toxic rigmarole and you think it's cute, you think it's funny, or whatever the case may be, believe me, 50's going to come, 60's going to come, 70's going to come. If those of you are blessed to see those ages, and believe me, you're going to start viewing things differently because you're going to look back on the fact that you wasted over half your life on toxic bullshit. And when you get in that age group, especially over 40, 50, 60, your mindset changes because you start thinking about the fruits of your labor. And if you spent your youth just behind a whole bunch of toxicity and don't have shit to show for it, and on top of that, making excuses for that toxicity, believe me, when it's time for you to address those issues when you get older, because you're going to want to, because you want things to be right, you're not going to have the energy, the time, or the resources to do it. You're not going to have it. I know this is stepping on some people's toes because I had to come to that realization. In regards to working jobs and dealing with relationships and things like that, I had to realize I wasn't 25, 30, 35 years old anymore, and my patience level has dropped considerably because you become exposed to different things and different people, and you see how the game is played. There are some lessons you're just not going to you're not going to unlearn certain lessons just because you're in a different location. Some of y'all have learned some serious life lessons, be it painful or whether joyful. You've learned some serious life lessons in regards to survival. It's made you a better, more resilient person. And then you turn around, you change locations, and you get around people and you get around things. And for some of them, their sinister reason is to deprogram you from the old unprogramming. Now, you've already deprogrammed yourself from all those toxic generational curses, but sometimes you might get around some people that'll try to put you right back into that. But the problem is that you've been exposed to too much. You've learned too many lessons and you won't get into it. These people that are doing that, they never learn the lesson. They never had a spiritual awakening. And I'm not talking about people who go to church every day and do this, that, and the other, because there are a ton of people that are religious that are not spiritually awakened at all. They wouldn't know a sign or a clue from God if it bit them in the ass. They wouldn't know. All they know is that they got to be at church at 11 o'clock and they got to listen to Pastor so-and-so preaching that they got to pay their tithes. And you know, in a lot of them cases, if they don't have an outreach ministry or something going on in the church to show them where the money is going, a lot of people don't even question it. They just do it because they done took the Bible out of context. But that's another look, I can get into that deep, because if you watch my live call, The Georgia Upbringing, I can tell you what goes on behind the scenes. But anyway, you know, you got the same people. They want you to be this in the same rut that they are. There is a saying called misery loves company, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's a fact. You can't unlearn the lessons that you learned when you were out there in the world. You can't unlearn the lessons that you learned when you made mistakes and you asked Spirit to help you and to renew your thinking and renew your habits. You can't unlearn those things because some other people who are miserable they don't get the damn message. They can't take the new you. They're hung up on the old you and all the fun times and all the great memories and stuff and all the bullshit that y'all used to deal with. They can't take that. So instead of being smart and just limiting or eliminating their association with you because they don't want to deal with you for whatever reason, they rather sit there and try to play this manipulation tactic game and figure, oh, well, you know, since you came over here, you know, we do so-and-so over here. No, y'all do so-and-so over there. I ain't got to do shit. See, the thing about being spiritually awakened is that Spirit tells you that you have the power and the ability to go anywhere on this earth and do whatever you want to do. Good or bad. Because there's consequences to those actions, good or bad. Good or bad. You have the ability to go anywhere on this planet and do whatever you want to do. It's called free. They call it free will in some contexts. Free will. And you got some systems set in place to make you think you can't do shit. And you got people who are programmed under those systems so deep, some of them generations deep, that they actually treat you as if you're the bad guy, treat you as if you're wrong because you won't follow their bullshit ways. But they live in these lives that are fractured and broken and everything else. Now, mind you, that's the shit that you wanted to get away from in the first place. That's the shit that probably put you over the edge in the first place so you could have a spiritual awakening, because you got out and away from there and you realized the shit was wrong. But they want you back in it because, see, they're suffering. They're silently suffering and don't realize it. We're talking about spiritual warfare today, people. And I hear people use that term as a buzzword all the time. Spiritual warfare, spiritual warfare, spiritual warfare. But how many of them are actually engaged in the warfare? Or are they just using it as some kind of buzzword to sound intelligent, to sound like they're enlightening? There are a lot of people around here who are faking that shit. They haven't checked themselves. They haven't done a dark night of the soul. They haven't checked. They haven't gone deep with Spirit 101. They haven't changed any of their habits. They're still doing this. They're still messed up in the mind, talking the same language they taught 25 years ago. Still running the streets and acting the fool the same way they 25 years ago. The only difference is they might be doing it a little slower because of some aches and pains, but still have debts, still have bad relationships, still have unresolved issues, because they probably already know that once they give themselves wholeheartedly to Spirit in whatever form of fashion they choose to, that it's going to be a hell of a lot of work to change their lives, and they don't want to do it. They're lazy. And they see that you have done all the work. They already see it. But see, they don't have the nerve or the balls or the common sense to just say, you know what, this is a little bit out of my league. I might as well just leave that alone. I'm going to respect her for what she's doing, but I'm just going to back up off of that. No, they want to try to drag you back into that same mindset that drove you into the mess that caused you to go to spirit in the first place. I'm telling you, spiritual warfare is real. And there's so many different ways they do it. They do it by trying to interfere with your relationships with family and friends and jobs. They try to do it by trying to curtail your finances. You know, you used to have a way where you had a budget and the way you used to do things. All of a sudden, shit's just start popping up that don't make no damn sense. That you know, on the hook for and all this stuff. It's like they're trying to put all of their burdens on you because they can't take what's being put in front of them. They can't take it. So the ones that choose not to deal with me, I actually respect you for that, because at least you're honest about it. So I respect you for your honesty. That's all you're going to get from me. But at least I respect you for your honesty. But the dangerous ones are the ones that call themselves being around you all the time, and all they're doing is just trying to just put roadblocks in front of you every time you try to do shit. Every time you open your mouth and talk about something that's going on in your life, it's always something against what you have to say, or but, or a maybe, or, oh, let me offer some constructive criticism. Constructive criticism, my foot up your ass. I'm so sick of hearing people saying that. It's still criticism. And I didn't provide this information to you just so you can criticize. I provide this information on the basis of information only. You so miserable in your shit every time I talk to you, it's got to be constructive criticism. I already know your situation's fucked up, so why don't you just stop? Just stop. So the ones who don't choose to deal with them, at least have the respect for them of being honest in the fact that they don't want to deal with you. But the ones that call themselves trying to fake the front and they got your support and this, that, and the other, you got to watch for them. Because anytime you make a move, they're taking it to the streets. They're taking it to the airwaves. They're on Facebook talking shit. They don't have the nerve to leave you alone. And these are the people you have to physically cut off. So I know this kind of covers a whole lot of things, but I wanted to talk about spiritual warfare in detail, and the fact that a lot of people say that phrase, but they're not practicing it. You have to be on your guard 24/7, 365 when you're dealing with people. You have to use your discernment. You have to listen and pay attention to the signs the Spirit is giving you. Don't get so caught up in this rat race matrix, because that's what it's designed to do, to get you so caught up in things that you can't pay attention to the little blessings that are presented in front of you. You are caught up in a situation where you can't even pay attention to seconds, minutes, hours, and time. And then you look up 20, 30 years later and realize all the shit that you missed out on because you didn't take time to pay attention, and now all of a sudden you're depressed. You're drinking, you're doing drugs, you're doing this, that, and the other. 60, 70-year-old. I know a lot of people that are in my age group right now that are so filled with regret because all they did was chase this and chase that and chase this and chase that they missed out on some very valuable blessings through people, through opportunities, because they were told by this system that all you had to do is chase paper and buy a whole bunch of shit. Because that's basically what the world is telling people to do. If you're a real adult, all you have to do is just chase money and buy a bunch of shit. And you're perfect. Tell that to the people who have the money and have a bunch of shit and who are still miserable. Riddle me that. But anyway, in regards to spiritual warfare, please, if you're one of these people that use it as a buzzword because it's trending, stop it. If you're not practicing it every single day, every single minute, and paying attention to the signs that Spirit gave you, quit using it. Quit using the terminology. Nobody wants to hear it. You're attracting people who actually think you're serious about your business, and they're going to waste their time trying to get to know you just to find out that you're a fraud. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Peace to you all.